Shalom, my brothers and sisters. Today, I'm going to teach y'all the true meaning of Isaiah 7:14, okay? Because we truly do not actually understand the true meaning of Isaiah 7:14. Your Christian pastors, they're lying to you. You understand me? That's right. They're lying to you. First, I'm going to read it from their perspective, okay? And then I'm going to read it from the Hebrew perspective. And I'm going to teach you guys that what David and all the other prophets are writing about is not the same thing that Christian pastors are teaching about. I want you guys to read with me. Have a Bible right beside you as I read. Because if you don't have a Bible beside you, you might not actually believe what I'm saying to be true. The Christian perspective. Matthew chapter 1, verse 20. But while he thought on these things, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a dream, saying, Joseph, thou son of David, fear not to take unto thee Mary thy wife, for that which is conceived of her is of the Holy Ghost. And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Jesus, for he shall save his people from their sins. Now all this was done, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken of the Lord by the prophet, saying, Behold, a virgin shall be with child, and shall bring forth a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, which being interpreted is God with us. Now I ain't done. I'm still reading from the Christian perspective. Now I'm going to read Isaiah chapter 7, verse 14. And here's what it says. Therefore, the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive, and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, bro, what's the problem? You were like, straight in your face. It's telling you that it's talking about Christ being born of a virgin, right? Wrong. In order to know actually what it means, it's not about actually what it's saying, it's about what it's meaning. And the only way to truly know what it means is by reading that chapter 7, from the beginning. If you read it from the beginning, it's going to tell you whether or not it's talking about Christ or something else. Let's read, and let's find out what it's truly talking about. Now I'm going to read the 7th chapter, okay? You're going to read right along with me, okay? We're going to read from verse 1 to verse 16. But before we get that far, we're going to read the verse 9. And I'm going to make sure you guys understand from verse 1 to verse 9 what's it saying. And then after that, we're going to read from 10 to 16. And we're going to see if this adds up to what the Christian pastors are teaching. Okay? We're reading it from the Hebrew perspective. Alright? The Hebrew perspective. Isaiah chapter 7, verse 1. And it came to pass in the days of Ahaz, the son of Jotham, the son of Uzziah, king of Judah, that Rezin, the king of Syria, and Pekah, the king of Remaliah, king of Israel, went up toward Jerusalem to war against it, but could not prevail against it. And it was told the house of David, saying, Syria is confederate with Ephraim. And his heart was moved, and the heart of his people, as the trees of the wood are moved with the wind. Then said Yahawah unto Isaiah, Go forth now to meet Ahaz, thou and Shear-Jashub thy son, at the end of the Kedui of the upper pool, in the highway of the fuller's field. And say unto him, Take heed, and be quiet, fear not, neither be faint-hearted, for the two tails of these smoking firebrands, for the fierce anger of Rezin with Syria, and of the son of Remaliah. Because Syria, Ephraim and the son of Remaliah have taken evil counsel against thee, saying, Let us go up against Judah, and vex it, and let us make a breach therein for us, and set a king in the midst of it, even the son of Tabeel. Thus saith Yahweh Elohim, It shall not stand, neither shall it come to pass. For the head of Syria is Damascus, and the head of Damascus is Rezin. And within 65 years shall Ephraim be broken, that it be not a people. And the head of Ephraim is Samaria, and the head of Samaria is Remaliah's son. If ye will not believe, surely ye shall not be established. Alright, I'm going to explain this as best as I could. Don't forget, this is the same chapter, so we're going to get to 14 in a minute. So, Rezin, the king of Syria, and Pekah, the son of Remaliah, king of Israel, went up against Jerusalem to war against it, but they did not have victory over it. And it was told the house of David, which is the tribe of Judah, the kingdom of Judah, that Syria is confederate with Ephraim. And his heart was moved in the heart of his people, as the trees of the wood are moved with the wind. Which means it was a troubling thing to hear that Ephraim and Syria is taking evil counsel against Judah, the kingdom of Judah. Then the Most High, Yahweh, tells Isaiah the prophet, he says, Go forth now to meet Ahaz, and thy son, and thou son, which is Ahaz's son, and say unto him, Take heed and be quiet, fear not, neither be faint-hearted, for the two tails of these two smoking firebrands, which is Rezin, which is the king of Syria, and Remaliah's son, which is the king of Israel. And it says the two kingdoms has made evil counsel against Judah. And we'll show you earlier that they were troubled by this. But the creator of heaven and earth tells Isaiah to tell Ahaz and his son that their evil counsel, so it shall not stand, neither shall it come to pass. For the head of Syria is Damascus, and the head of Damascus is Rezin. And within 65 years shall Ephraim be broken, that it be no more a people, that it be not a people. The head of Syria is Damascus. Okay, so Rezin and Remaliah's son is the ones who are the main ones who are taking evil counsel against them. Since the head of Ephraim is Samaria, and the head of Samaria is Remaliah's son. But he's telling him, even though they're doing this evil counsel against him, against the whole house of Judah, the Creator says, it will not come to pass. See, if you will not believe, surely you should not be established. He's telling him, if ye will not believe that what I said shall be, that their evil counsel will not come to pass, he said, surely ye shall not be established. Now, let's move on. Verse 10. Moreover, Yahweh spoke again unto Ahaz, saying, Ask thee a sign of Yahweh, thy Elohim. Ask it either in the depth or in the height above. But Ahaz said, I will not ask, neither will I tempt Yahweh. And he said, Hear ye now, O house of David. Is it a small thing for you to weary men? But will ye weary my Elohim also? Therefore, Yahweh himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel. Butter and honey shall he eat, that he may know to refuse the evil and choose the good. For before the child shall know to refuse the evil and choose the good, the land that thou abhorrest shall be forsaken of both her kings. Now let's put verse 1 through 9 together with verse 10 through 16. And let's see what he's talking about when he says his sign. Remember, it says, if ye will not believe, surely ye shall not be established. What was he talking about? Taking down the two kings, Rezin and Remaliah's son, Pekah. What does he say after he says, after he says, if you will not believe, surely you shall not be established? It says, ask thee a sign of Yahawah, thy Elohim. Ask ye either in the depth or in the height above. What is he talking about the sign for? To know that these kingdoms are going to be destroyed. Pay attention. But Ahaz said, I will not ask thee, neither will I tempt Yahawah. He said, hear ye now, O house of David, is it a small thing for you to weary men? But will ye weary my Elohim also? Therefore Yahweh himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel. Butter and honey shall he eat, that he may know to refuse the evil and choose the good. For before the child shall know to refuse the evil and choose the good, the land that thou abhorrest shall be forsaken of both her kings. Now you see, the sign has nothing to do with a God forgiving sins. The sign is about King Ahaz, knowing that these kingdoms are going to be destroyed. Because he's telling you, he said, before the child shall know to refuse the evil and choose the good, the land that thou abhorrest shall be forsaken of both her kings. Because the child being born is a sign for Ahaz to know that these kingdoms are going to be destroyed. Read that again. It said, before the child shall know to refuse the evil and choose the good, the land that thou abhorrest shall be forsaken of both her kings. This is here to let you know that the sign of the baby being born has nothing to do with some random God forgiving sins, okay? The God of Israel already forgives sins, but I'm going to get to that in a moment. So if the baby was a sign for Ahaz, that means the baby was born within Ahaz's generation. And not only that, but that means that these kings were killed before the baby was even a certain age. Because it's telling you, before the child even knows to refuse the evil and choose the good. That means that these kings were killed within Ahaz's generation. And I'm going to show you where those kings are actually killed within his generation. Go to 2 Kings 15:30. And here's what it says. And Hoshea, the son of Elah, made a conspiracy against Pekah, the son of Remaliah, and smote him, and slew him, and reigned in his stead, in the 20th year of Jotham, the son of Uzziah. Which king was that? That was Pekah. Pekah. I think his name is Pekah. I'm pretty sure it's Pekah. I think. Pekah. Let me know how to correctly say this guy's name down in the comments. Let me know, because apparently I might be saying it wrong. But Pekah, that was one king. The king of Israel. Now let's look for Rezin, which is the king of Syria. He told him before the child knows to refuse the evil and choose the good. These two kings are going to be killed in Ahaz's generation. That's one king down. Now let's see the other one. Go to 2 Kings, chapter 16, verse 8 through 9. And here's what it says. And Ahaz took the silver and gold that was found in the house of Yahweh, and in the treasures of the king's house, and sent it for a present to the king of Syria. And the king of Assyria hearkened unto him. For the king of Assyria went up against Damascus, and took it, and carried the people of it captive to Kir, and slew Rezin. You see what it says? It says, and he slew Rezin, and slew Rezin. So as you see, both kings were killed within Ahaz's generation. You see, because the New Testament doesn't add up. Because if that baby that they were talking about was actually supposed to be Christ, the one in the New Testament, that means Christ should have been born within Ahaz's generation. But that doesn't happen now, does it? Because the baby is a sign for the two kings being destroyed. The two kings are destroyed. The baby was born before the two kings were destroyed. Not only that, but if Christ is born within Ahaz's generation, that means Christ was born before the Babylonian captivity. And if that was so, wouldn't that change the entire way the Bible was written? Because Daniel doesn't talk about him. Jeremiah doesn't talk about him. Nehemiah or Ezra or anyone else in that time, they don't talk about this stuff. Because the New Testament is not something they knew. Because this was made up. Okay? That's why the actual verse where it's talking about Emmanuel being born doesn't add up with what the Christian pastors in the book of Matthew is telling you. Plus the name Emmanuel, yeah, that literally means God with us. That's how the Hebrews would say it. Emmanuel literally means God with us. That's how they say God with us. So he's basically naming him God with us. It's basically like saying that's literally what they call him. They say, yo, God with us. Take up the trash. God with us, you want to hang out? That's literally how they use it in Hebrew. They don't tell you that in the Old Testament that Emmanuel means God with us because it's written to a Hebrew people. Hebrews already know it. They assume that the people will already know because the book is given to a Hebrew people. Unlike the New Testaments. The New Testaments tell you that Christ's name is supposed to mean God with us because, well, it's not written to a Hebrew people. It's a different language, and those names were literally they're Greek names. The New Testaments tell you, on the other hand, because, well, it's pretty much a different nation talking to a different nation. Because the New Testament is written in Greek. They wrote it just to make us slip up. Now, there's one more thing I want to go over with y'all. It says, therefore, Yahweh himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive. Now, according to how Americans and the Greek people use the word virgin here, it means a woman who has never had any sexual experience. But in the Hebrew perspective, the word that's actually supposed to be used in the Old Testaments, where it says virgin, is not actually that word, where it's talking about a woman's sexual experience. The word is actually supposed to be young woman there. It was actually supposed to be, therefore, Yahweh himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a young woman shall conceive. Now, for people who know Hebrew, they may already know this, but some of y'all guys might not know no Hebrew. So I'm going to show y'all. So the word for young woman in Hebrew is Elma. Okay? The word that is placed within Isaiah 7:14 is Elma in the Hebrew Bible. The word for virgin in Hebrew is Bethula. That's the word for virgin. That word Bethula is not referred to in Isaiah 7:14. It is Elma, because it's not talking about a prophecy of a woman who never had sexual intercourse. It's talking about a young woman conceiving and having child within this verse. Remember, the Hebrew Bible is the original Bible. In order to understand most of these things, you have to read the Hebrew Bible because that's the original. Most of the modern Bibles are translated wrong. It was either error or translation wrong on purpose so we don't understand, or both. So there you have it. That's the true meaning of Isaiah 7:14. It has nothing to do with Christ. It has nothing to do with the New Testament. New Testaments, Old Testaments are totally different things. They have nothing to do with each other. Really, they don't. So the next time someone's talking to you about a virgin birth, Emmanuel, you could be like, oh, I guess you don't know anything about King Pekah and King Rezin. I guess you don't know anything about how the Hebrew perspective, what was really supposed to be there on virgin, a young woman.